Good morning, Dubai. This is the Lovin Dubai show with me, Casey, and I'm here with Lakshmi. Good morning, Lakshmi.
Good morning.
As always, guys, we go through the big trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Our top story for you today, the US Consulate fire was caused by drone targeting last night.
The UAE has retained its right to self-defense. We'll be talking more from the briefings as well.
That's it, the key updates from the briefings, and also an Emirati lawyer who clapped back at misleading Western media narratives. A lot of updates from today. I will briefly take you through the weather report. It's mostly cloudy today, expecting a little bit of rain across the country with temperatures ranging from 23 to 34 degrees. As you can see, we are working from home. We're not in our usual studio setup. It was also announced yesterday evening that the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research announced that distance learning would be extended until February 6th, which is Friday. March 6th, which is Friday. The decision applies to all students and academic and administrative staff across public and private sector schools, as well as universities. Interesting update. I think a lot of teachers were happy to see it. It should also mean a little bit less traffic on the roads for the private sector returning. So if anyone is returning to work today, do let us know what the roads are like.
Oh, the roads. I was actually seeing a lot of videos on those as well. Like people are saying, we have never seen the roads like this before. I was like, yeah, this is not what we meant when we said less traffic.
It is, it has been a little bit quieter for sure, but I think
Yes.
with the country starting to move again today, we saw His Highness Sheikh Mohammed at Iftar yesterday evening. I think the messaging is, yes, there is a security concern, but also we are proceeding with caution and we are moving. But with that, we have to take serious caution when we see the alerts. And I saw this update from NCMA yesterday, and I thought it was really helpful. Maybe Lakshmi, you
Yes.
want to take us through it?
Yes, so they've released a post on what to do when you hear a warning alert, which was quite important. Like many of them, I feel like they weren't sure how to go about with it. So they've released like an official warning alert now. So it's worth noting that alerts are often location based. So it's not unusual for one person to receive it while the other might not. So it has also been noted that when receiving an alert, some members of the public they leave their homes or places of residences. We had discussed this yesterday on the show as well, and they often even stop their cars to record videos and so on. So the warning has been issued for your safety, and it is a reminder that you must comply by heading to a safe place and taking a shelter there until everything is clear and like an alert has been issued on the same. So if you are in your car, continue to your intended destination and upon arrival, proceed to the nearest by safest place. And also, it is a good reminder that violating these instructions will subject you to legal accountability. So they have asked you for cooperation to ensure that everything remains safe, and then your protection is also key.
Yeah, and interesting, just on management of this crisis, which we have been experiencing for a few days, I think it's so important to make sure that we don't panic. And so when there is a crisis alert, follow these instructions so carefully. So if you are in your car, continue driving, don't stop to take videos. And then speaking of videos, I think it's worth adding Dubai Police have also issued a warning on sharing rumors and false information. So we're seeing a lot of misleading content going around. I have seen AI videos. I won't tell you what was included in the AI videos, but if you're not living in this city, you might kind of scroll past that and think, wow, is that actually happening? And I think we will speak more on this later when we talk about a Western narrative that's being set. But to avoid this happening and to avoid contradicting information being shared, Dubai Police have said that sharing these rumors, this false information, or any content that contradicts official announcements or threatens public safety, it's all prohibited. So if you are a violator of this crime, you could face penalties, including imprisonment for no less than 2 years and fines of no less than 200,000 dirhams. So take ultimate caution when you see a video online and you think about sharing. Think about those 2 years in prison and 200,000 penalties that you could face if it is indeed false information. And we're seeing so much false information come across our news desk. We know it's out there. And I think it's a really good warning from Dubai Police that we all need to be aware. The key updates come from government channels, which we've listed on our website. And last night, a key update came in relation to the US Consulate. And Lakshmi, you were reporting on that story.
Yes. So there was a breaking news from last evening, which was about how Dubai authorities, they successfully extinguished a fire in the vicinity of the US Consulate General in Dubai. So according to the Dubai Media Office, the incident involved a limited fire resulting from a drone targeting operation. And
it's worth
yes,
knowing, it's worth knowing that no injuries were reported, and the authorities reached in impeccable time, and the situation was brought under swiftly.
Officials have not shared further operational details at this time, but they have confirmed that the emergency teams responded immediately, and we'll continue to follow official updates as they come and bring them to you as they are released.
Interesting. So it was a US consulate fire last night. Just to give a kind of an update on US in the UAE, initially there was a report that said leave now, and it came from the travel government department from the US. Most recently, I think in the last 8 hours, the US travel citizens are at a level 4, which says leave if you can. So they've changed their messaging on that a little bit. But we'll keep you updated on all embassy updates as we get them, as and when are possible. But no injuries there at the US consulate fire last night, although, as Lakshmi said, it was confirmed to be from drone targeting from Iran. And with that, we had an update from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So after this drone targeting, we had the update that said the UAE retains its right to self-defense. The UAE affirms it has not taken any decision to alter its defensive posture in response to the repeated Iranian attacks. The UAE has been subjected to more than 1,000 attacks, a number exceeding the total faced by all targeted countries combined. Let that sink in. The UAE has been subjected to 1,000 attacks, and that combines the targets of all other countries, all of which were intercepted and neutralized by the UAE armed forces with the utmost professionalism, efficiency, and distinction.
The UAE reiterated that it is not a party to this war, and it has not permitted the use of its territory, territorial waters, or even airspace for any kind of attack against Iran. It's been consistent with its long-standing policy of good neighborliness, de-escalation, and its firm commitment to the Charter of the United Nations.
And similar words came from Reem Al Hashmi yesterday, and we will jump into all of the updates from the media briefing. But the UAE wants to be at the negotiation table here and is dealing with chaos in a calm environment. And when you see these numbers, it's absolutely shocking. And the stance is firm. The country will react if pushed to do so. However, in the statement, furthermore, the UAE underscores that it retains its legitimate right to self-defense as recognized under international law and the Charter of the United Nations. The UAE further stresses the importance of journalistic responsibility and the need to, again, rely on official, credible sources before publishing or circulating inaccurate or misleading reports. We spoke yesterday about the inaccurate Bloomberg report, and so it's kind of a constant thread here that the UAE needs to send out the messaging that do wait for official channels. And on that, to move into our next story, it's worth noting that, credit is where credit is due in terms of communication, because, being a sideline in a war that we did not start, the crisis management and the communication of the UAE has been exceptionally clear. I know, Lakshmi, you shared a story a few days in terms of the hotlines that we're able to reach out to, and the pages that we should follow.
Yeah. So, uh, actually, there's also like, so speaking of that, the UAE government, they have actually come forward very efficiently. Like I was just mentioning it last night as well about how when they held the press briefing, they're making sure there's no space for speculations. They have their official channels, their social media profiles, all of them very proactively giving updates to people, keeping it all transparent throughout, so that even when there's a narrative that's going around, which we have seen, that kind of takes away the reality on the ground. They are giving all sensationalized kind of news. Even then, the government is making sure that they address everything, that they are creating the space where the conversation happens with the public. So I was also highly appreciating this. And from the UAE government media briefing that happened yesterday at 3:30, uh, these are the few key highlights. So Abdullah bin Tokal Mari, Minister of Economy and Tourism and Chairman of the GCAA, during the UAE government media briefing on the latest developments, operational readiness, and contingency plans for the aviation sector with regards to travel. Here are the few things that he mentioned. So, there is an ongoing coordination and continuous situational assessment that are being undertaken to support the safe and phased resumption of air traffic operations within the UAE airspace, which we have been seeing yesterday as well. There's also been dedicated contingency air corridors that have been established in coordination with neighboring states to ensure the safe management of traffic under emergency conditions that might rise.
And he continued that this regional contingency plans have been activated. Dedicated recovery flights have been operated to support passengers by the current circumstances across UAE airports. And it's being implemented in successive phases as part of a contingency plan that has been well established and pre-planned by the UAE. Phase 1, from March 2nd to date, 60 flights operated, transporting over 17,000 passengers. We will enter phase 2, which is 80 scheduled flights per day, with a projected capacity exceeding 27,000 passengers. And as Lakshmi said, the clear communication left no stone unturned in terms of speculation. And so what we saw, and in case you missed it, we're going to give you a quick recap of what happened. So we had key highlights from the Ministry of Economy and Tourism. We had key highlights from the Ministry of Defence. We had key highlights from Her Highness Reem Al Hashmi, the Minister of State for International Cooperation. We also had a spokesperson for the Ministry of Interior. We also had a spokesperson for National Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management. Thousands and thousands of people tuned in to see this. I thought it was very interesting to see that they actually showed some of the missiles that have been launched towards the UAE to show us what is being sent our way. Did you see those videos?
Yes, I saw. And I was actually looking at the videos of, where they were intercepting the missiles. Because that gave me it gave me a better idea because I didn't know exactly how they work. Like I've heard people talk, I've like only heard stuff, but when they showed exactly what's been going around, it was like a good reality check for me as well. So I think it was quite a powerful statement when they showed the um, intercepted missiles as well. Because when we were looking at the numbers, also we see how many missiles were targeting UAE and how many were tackled. They have put out all the numbers. The ministry, they've put all the numbers out for people to see.
Completely agree with you there. I think the more knowledge we have, the less fear that there is. Because yesterday we did talk about what causes the booming noises. And we now understand that what we have is a world-class defense system. And the noises that you're hearing, because of the sonic boom that it creates when our defense system hits the missiles, it's actually happening 100 kilometers above the country. And that sound is spreading. And so that certainly gave me the reassurance. Yeah, I think it was a really kind of strong move actually to by the UAE, and just such clear communication in terms of what's happening and how it's being dealt with. And so for anyone that missed it, we also had the Ministry of Defense who talked us through the weaponry, and also said that we affirm that the UAE is at the highest level of readiness and possesses the capabilities and defense systems that enable it to protect its territory and its people, which is the top priority. Lakshmi, if you'd like to run into what we had from Reem Al Hashmi.
So Reem bin Ibrahim Al Hashmi, Minister of State for International Cooperation, she said that she had a very good statement, and she mentioned that you are safe and secure in responsible and trustworthy hands. And in regards to the defense system, she mentioned how they are operating efficiently around the clock to protect everyone in the country.
Yeah, and it's an efficient contingency plan that's been well planned out. We also had His Excellency Brigadier Abdulaziz Al Ahmed, official spokesperson of the Ministry of Interior. He said that the integrated national response to developments and events reflects a high level of efficiency and professionalism. Now, these are the condensed notes. If you would like to see the whole thing, we do have it on our YouTube channel, Lovin Dubai. It's dubbed there. The original is in Arabic, and there's an AI dubbing on it. But finally, also, Lakshmi, we had a spokesperson from NCEMA, the National Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management Authority, if you'd like to take us through it.
So, His Excellency Dr. Saif Al Dahiri, he is the spokesperson of the National Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management Authority, who have been very proactive in giving out the information throughout the week. So he said that we affirm that daily life across the country continues as normal, and all essential services are being operated efficiently and regularly.
Interesting. They did speak on food resource management.
Yeah.
And sometimes with fear, people think I need to run to the store and I need to buy a lot. And then what happens is you might see an empty shelf. But what he said is there are many routes into this country for food, for essential items, and we are extremely well equipped to manage, even if the flow discontinued. The country has a well-stocked environment in place. And again, wait for official resources. And at the in a final summary, they wanted to give you the official and trusted accounts. So if you're watching this today, please be aware Lovin Dubai takes all our information directly from these accounts. You've got UAE Gov, which is the UAE Government Media Office, WAM News, which is the Emirates News Agency, WAM, Ministry of Interior, you'll find it at MOI UAE, the UAE General Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA UAE, for all of your flight updates. And three more, MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, UAE, Ministry of Defense, which is MOD.gov AE, and then finally, NCEMA, National Emergency Crisis and Disasters Management. All of these authorities working night and day to ensure our safety. And they, many times, they reiterate that our safety is the top priority. And I think please have that in the back of your mind if you see an update or if you're scrolling on social media. And it's so hard to look at the different narratives that you're seeing, because we have family at home who are being fed a different news to what we see here in the UAE. I thought it was impressive again to see His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, enjoying iftar. It is the holy month of Ramadan. It is a time for family. And it was, again, a show of leadership that, one, he is with the people. He's not hiding. He's not scared. And also that life is continuing. And I think that is a message that we need to kind of hold deeply if there are moments of fear. But I also think this leads us nicely into our next story.
So an Emirati lawyer, he has clapped back at the misleading Western media narrative. So we've been seeing this around a lot. And yesterday we discussed about how the UAE ministry, they released a statement against Bloomberg's misleading narrative on the country's defense systems. So it's good to know that even the people are on this, because an Emirati lawyer's post, it's been making the rounds for calling out what he says is an exaggerated global media narrative about Dubai. So here's what went down. A recent report by the Financial Times, it suggested that half of Dubai was scrambling to book flights to drive to Oman and Saudi Arabia, following all the regional tensions that is happening. And the article painted a very clear picture of panic, of people rushing to leave, of uncertainty taking over the city, of a mass exodus of kinds. That is not really what's happening down here.
Yes, it's so interesting. I've seen a number of headlines. So this one is Financial Times, but a number of headlines which, in a horrifying way, seem to be, it's been the moment that Western media has been waiting for to pull Dubai down, yet also not acknowledging that what's actually happening is phenomenal. We're being targeted by 1,000 missiles, and the ruler of our country is still greeting our people at Dubai Mall.
Yes.
That's the story. That's the impeccable thing. Still showing to his people that life will continue, because he is so sure of the level of defense that the country has to retaliate and to intercept the missiles. And I think, though, as soon as this report went up, so many residents backed the city. They assured that this is not what we're seeing on ground. And it was actually prominent Emirati lawyer, Dr. Habib Al-Mullah. He responded publicly, and his reply is now making waves online, because this is what people really kind of want to reshare. In his response, he referenced the famous 3,000 cars that were, left at the airport during the 2000 financial crisis, and it's still a comment that comes up to this day. That was a story that circled global headlines, and it became symbolic of Dubai's so-called collapse at the time.
Yes, and why he brought up the story once again was because of this very important point. For nearly 4 decades, international outlets have repeatedly predicted Dubai's downfall, often through, dramatic, sensationalized angles. And yet, the UAE has navigated global recessions, regional tensions, oil shocks, and even a pandemic with impeccable leadership and decisions.
So true. And I just on that point, of course, there's concern.
Yes.
There's a split group of people who've grown up in a war zone and people who haven't, and people who are used to these or people who have heard these booming sounds and people who haven't. However, I think if you lived in Dubai during COVID and you saw a disaster take place across the world, and it unfolded here too, and you saw the management of the leadership, you have faith that the country has your best interests at heart, and that the country will keep moving, that the country will bounce back. Every time we see the similar kind of panic narrative resurfacing, and each time the country has proven it will continue to grow and stabilize and evolve. And not just that, the government has always been on the forefront in terms of responding to such allegations and to such false narratives.
Yes, and this latest tweet exchange, it has just reignited that wider debate on, how global headlines versus everyday reality on the ground works. And it was much needed because during such sensitive times, such conversations hit differently. So when it comes to national security and public calm, words matter way more than we think we could, like it could. And for many residents here, Dr. Habib's response was a reminder and a call for responsible journalism.
Mm.
So, yes, I think this was quite important to come out. Like we had talked about it yesterday as well, about how, everybody, if they're not in Dubai, they have all these panic narratives going on and they pick on it because I feel it is a very natural reaction. Even on Twitter, when we see something like very shocking, we choose to, without even verifying them, we go around sharing it with everyone. And this kind of thing, I feel especially here, it is comparatively very well managed because the UAE media, the government, ministry, all of them are ensuring that people receive the information directly through them. And, any kind of narrative that is false, they make sure to call it out as well. So this is, and I'm glad that people are also on it. Like Dubai residents, I've been seeing a lot of videos on Instagram as well where, people are, they have turned it into a bit of a meme, but they show how, things, this is what people are saying. But meanwhile, here, we are just, we are relaxed. We're getting the alerts. We are updated. We are all safe. We are all good here. So it's a very two-sided narrative for everyone, but it feels everything's going to be fine here because of the kind of, leadership and accountability they often take.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We need to wrap up the show, but there was one comment that I actually really liked, and it was on X, and it was from an Emirati, and they said, "Wow, until this happened, we didn't realize how much love there was for the Emirates,
Yes.
because while there is a lot of fear, there's fear mongering, there's also, this is the time when people are like, I trust the Emirates, I trust the leadership." And find me a city across the world that you get that. Find me a city where
Yes.
people say, I trust the leadership, despite the fact that there's missiles raining above us. We're not leaving, we're staying safe, and we believe that the country has our best interests at heart. Now, what's going on is scary. It's concerning for sure. I'm not hiding behind that. And we don't know what's going to play out. But what I'm saying is, what I trust is that the leadership has the country's and its citizens' best interests at heart. And
Yes.
to how that will play out, let's see. But I think what we're seeing is many people are putting their trust in the country because we've seen them manage these crises before.
Yes. So, yes.
Yeah. Yes, I think that brings us to the end of the Lovin Dubai show today. Hopefully we'll be back in studio tomorrow, I've no doubt, and we can catch up normally then, as humans should connect. It might be nicer. But until then, Lakshmi, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Thank you.